Hey yo, it's time to roar, get loud, let's ignite. Jeremy B in the house, we keeping it tight. Every weekday at 11, we ready to ride. Lions Talk Live, come and join the pride. Waking up early, it's that morning grind. Tune in to the show, leave the troubles behind. Jeremy B's the king, with the voice like thunder. Every word he spits, it's a lyrical wonder. Got the lions around, sharp and fierce. When we hear one pride, you can't help but feel your heart pierce. Talking all the topics, keep it real, keep it raw. With a lion's mentality, we're ready for the roar. One pride, it feels right. Jeremy B bringing the heat, morning light. Every weekday at 11, we taking flight. Lions Talk Alive, yeah, we ready to bite. One pride, hear us loud. Jeremy's in the zone, making us proud.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Good afternoon. It is Lions Talk with Smoke and Jeremy B, live at noon Eastern, 11 Central, 10 Mountain, 9 Pacific. How's everybody doing today? Good to see you in the chat there, MDE. And yes, let's talk about it. I said it would be a defensive battle in Denver. And if you say that in the first half that Stidham didn't outplay Drake May, you didn't watch the same game. The second half, once it became the snowball, that was the difference in this game because they didn't go for the field goal. They Dan Gambled themselves. Sean Payton, Dan Campbell's from that tree. Remember, he was an interim coach and then went to him and learned from Sean Payton. So I'm not going to. Moonscar, it's great to see you back in action. But it is what it is. That's where we're at. I think Stidham had a better game than everybody expected, but fell apart when the weather did. And if Sean Payton would have taken those 2 touchdowns in the first half, it'd have been a different game. Granted, in the snowball that was the fourth quarter, Will Lutz missed 2. They couldn't move the ball. Neither team could move the ball in that stuff. And it ended on a pick where, I'm sorry, Christian Gonzalez probably looked like the ground when he caught that pass. So it was a bad pass. And when he jumped the route, made the play, won the game for the Patriots, congratulations. But if you go look by the numbers, Stidham had a better game than Drake May. Drake May was better on the ground. If Bo Nix was in, I think it's a different game. And I'll leave it at that. Both teams played great defensively. Anybody who thinks differently didn't watch the game. As far as the Rams-Seahawks, it was the offensive explosion that we thought it would be, and defense won the game there technically. So that's the nuts and bolts of these weekend's playoff games. So we get Patriots versus Seahawks in San Francisco, or Santa Clara technically, in 2 weeks. In other news, Boob Quinn gets hired as senior advisor to Kevin Stefanski in Atlanta. I guess he didn't learn the only thing that guy can scout is offensive linemen while he was with the Browns. He gets hired there. A week later, they trade for Deshaun Watson and cut Baker Mayfield. You remember all this? I don't understand the thinking of bringing him in. So here I am, once again, having to talk about Boob Quinn getting another job. And somebody says, I thought that was Matt Ryan's job. No, Matt Ryan is the president of football operations for Atlanta. Not a GM, not an advisor. There's a big difference in those. Good to see you, Steve Bauer. This is for all you old timers and new timers out there. That's right. And Kayden Proctor was seen talking to a Lion scout during the All-American Bowl. Great news. So the two different positions, the senior advisor to Kevin Stefanski. That broke this morning. Ryan having that gig, I think it's a good move because he was a big part of why Atlanta was successful while he was there. He just couldn't get the job done in the big game because Kevin Stefanski was his OC, while Dan Quinn, a defensive coach, was his head coach. It's less on Dan Quinn and more on the fact that Kevin Stefanski did the same thing to the Falcons that he's done to the 49ers, that he's done the entire time he gets to that big game. He stops running the football in the second half and gives up a lead. Yeah, I like the fact he's there, but let's face it, he's a Jim Harbaugh, not a Jim Harbaugh, a John Harbaugh disciple. He started with the Ravens and got hired by Jim. What up, though, RBF Fred? Good to see you. A senior advisor is the same position he held that Bob Quinn held as assistant GM and senior advisor to the Cleveland Browns. Woody, good to see you. So I don't know who wins between Stafford and Drake May, but that's your 1A, 1B. If Trevor Lawrence could have won their first game versus Josh Allen, he'd be up there. Josh Allen doesn't deserve to be up there in the top two because let's face it, he had a bad season. Declan Clark, good to see you. Paul Jones. Great weekend for football, man. Chester United beat Arsenal and their 3-2 in their match. UFC cards were great, and then some great football. Yeah, you got to admit, the first game was rather boring. It was only good in the first half, and then once that snow started flying, both teams fell apart. Drake May did have a fumble that he recovered. Stidham had one that he did not. Should it have been a touchdown? Yes, if they let it go, but they didn't. So once the whistle was blown, the play was dead. They got to be quit being so quick with those whistles. I think that was a college ref because that's what's supposed to happen in that situation in college, not the pros. So yes, New England was robbed of a touchdown that didn't have. Love EPL, Fred, and yes, the fights were mostly good. Yeah, hell, I don't know how they could even see the goalposts for field goals. I know, and the wind was swirling, just like I said it would. I said that would be a factor. I didn't think the field goals were going to do it, but ultimately, New England won by a field goal they took in the first half that Broncos didn't. Tariq Stevenson almost cost his team the game. Damn good thing they had Sam Darnold. Oh, did I say that out loud? Sam Darnold under pressure, looking good in another game in prime time. Imagine that. What everybody said he couldn't do. Go look at Goff's record with Detroit in prime time. It's way better than everybody thinks it is. You know who has to be feeling stupid right now? Quezzy, the GM of the Vikings. He let that man walk out the building. Didn't trade him. Didn't do anything. Sam was out there playing with a strained oblique and looked good. The star of that game, Jackson Smith-Njigba. Kenneth Walker did all right, but the running game was being shut down on both sides for the most part. I still love what Chris Long said about Drew Petzing. How diabolical to Ben Johnson's psyche is it to hire a guy that was his best friend at his first coaching job in Boston College and his groomsman at his wedding? Not his best man, just a groomsman. Don't get it twisted. I didn't say all that. But they became best friends. And you just made them mortal enemies on the football field now. Yep, he did. Yeah, I know. Wait. Drake May does have a rushing touchdown versus the Broncos. He just didn't have a throwing touchdown. Stidham had the throwing touchdown. The guy that hadn't started a game in over 2 years, 768 days to be exact. Stidham, that was drafted by the Patriots. He threw for more yards. I thought he looked better. In that snowy part of the game, anybody would have thrown that pick to a guy in a white jersey. And I think we need to start planning uniforms around the weather now. If it's going to be a snowball like that, can't wear white uniforms. Have to wear your alternate. If they're wearing their orange, make them wear their blues. If they're wearing their blues, make them wear their reds. That way, there's a difference, and you can see them in the snow. Christian Gonzalez is not that good. It's just like in the Hall of Fame game, I think both teams should be able to wear their home alternate uniforms in the preseason. I think it would make things a lot spicier for TV and a game worth watching aesthetically, at least. Like last year, if we'd have let the Chargers wear their powder blue and the Lions wear their midnight blacks, the Motor City Muscles, wouldn't everybody have liked that look on the TV a hell of a lot better than those boring ass whites and the regular Honolulu blue? Yeah, but the thing is, it was a freak snowstorm. The the storm cell moved it into Denver. They were not expecting it to hit during the game. It came early. They expected the game to be done. So I get it, but yeah, wearing those short sleeves. Can we talk about how ESPN has gone away from just reporting and becoming more DEI? It's hard to watch anymore because anytime somebody does good, they go to the fact that it's not Lamar Jackson, it's not Kyler Murray, it's not Caleb Williams, it's not this guy, that guy that's a mobile QB. The only white guy they prop up is Josh Allen. Is he in the Super Bowl? Nope. Probably won't be now that they got rid of one of the winningest coaches in NFL history. And Ryan Clark, Mike Tomlin steps away from the Steelers and he says, "Oh, this is just another way to hold the black man down, firing him." He didn't get fired. Amen. I'm tired of this. Either they go inclusive or they bash everybody that isn't what they want them to be. It's kind of like LA Lakers right now. Everybody's mad at Luka, who's having a great season, had 3 bad games, but yet nobody's talking about how LeBron James has looked awful. Why is that? Oh, because LeBron is their GOAT. But hey, what do I know? Smoking dad. But congratulations, Seahawks and Patriots. Have fun at the Super Bowl. Now we know it's going to be more Broncos and Rams players in the Pro Bowl. Puka will play in the Pro Bowl unless he's hurt. I think Adams made it. I think Verse made it. I don't think Stafford made it because Stafford wasn't voted in by the fans, which is weird. Jack Campbell of the Lions made it. Also voted the best linebacker in the NFL and college football by receiving the Butkus Award this year, like he did his senior year at Iowa. But hey, what do I know? I don't know if he retires. I think it's going to depend on Sean McVay. Every day, same time I go live, and people still try to call me. Oh, she did it on purpose. Yes, Lion Scouts were talking. A Lion Scout was seen talking to Kayden Proctor at the All American Bowl this weekend. Guys, I wish that would have been invited, and I got to see if they're invited to the East West Shrine Bowl for the lesser players because these are your marquee players, the guys you expect to see in day one and day two. There's not a lot of your sleepers usually in that game. It seems like it was right after they won the Super Bowl that talk started, but I could be wrong. I love the fact that Drew Petzing is a Norv Turner product. You say he worked under this guy and that guy, but Norv Turner was the one that recruited him to the Browns as a positions coach and switched him from defense to offense. Because I know that wherever Kelly and Matt went just before the trade happened, Sean McVay and his wife went to the same place. Yeah, it's amazing how many good coordinators and head coaches have came out of the Norv Turner tree. Norv Turner himself wasn't that great of a head coach, but a great coordinator. He coached some good teams, but not a lot of success. But Stefanski came out of that tree. Um, there's a couple others that came out of that tree that went to other trees and also blossomed. So it is a very good coaching tree. Yep. I was hoping it would be Denver. I really would because it would be nice to call it the Russell Wilson Bowl. And the defense played well enough. They should have won if their coach would have taken the field goal early before the snow started. I think there was 5 minutes left in the third when the snow first started to fall, and you notice it was going to be a visibility problem. But by the fourth quarter, I don't think they could see 5 yards down the field because there were times guys were open deep for both quarterbacks and they didn't take shots. You sure did, Patty Grimes. Congratulations. Yeah, that was last year, right? And I think that's ultimately where Dan Skipper goes. I think he's going to go into coaching, and I think he's going to be a very good one. He learned a lot from Hank Fraley. Yep, exactly. That's my point. Sean Payton cost his team the game by not taking field goals, and yet he's probably going to blame the pick at the end of the game. When technically, I think 90% of quarterbacks would have taken that shot. Eh, he can lose weight. You can cut weight on people. I'm not concerned about body weight. We've 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 seen people cut weight and get in shape on this team with this strength and conditioning staff in the last 3 seasons. So I'm not going to bitch about it. I want to see what happens. They said the same thing about Tate Ratledge's weight last year, and he cut weight before camp. So let's see what happens. I'm going to be happy with whoever we got. I'm going to trust the process. I'm going to trust Drew Pensing until I see something otherwise, because I have more trust in our staff to do their due diligence. I think the Morton hire was because he was associated with Ben Johnson in our during the whole time we were creating that playbook for golf. And I think we brought him in to appease fans saying, hey, we got Ben Johnson protege 2.0. And God knows it wasn't that. Granted, he had some good games, but he wasn't as creative. He didn't use pre-snap motion. He didn't use very much in the 12 and 13 man personnel. And everything suffered later in mid-season because of it, because that's when we started to go back and forth, even before Dan Campbell took over. But everybody's going to skip that and miss that. We lost to Kansas City. We beat the Bucks. We went to the bye. We lost to the Vikings. Dan Campbell takes over. We put up 44, which is our second highest amount against the Washington Commanders. Then the Philly game, and it started to snowball at that point. We win the next one. Then we against the Giants in overtime, which probably never should have got there, but we prepared for the wrong quarterback. Then it was lose, lose, win. That's what we did. Back and forth with 3 wins, and then oh yeah, we beat Dallas. I forgot. Oh, nice. I didn't get time to look this morning because I've been dealing with other stuff, as you know. With Uncle Dad passing, the funeral is Wednesday at a Wynn's Funeral Home here in Montrose, Michigan. So that's where I'm going to be Wednesday. But I will be right here before it, and I'll be right here after it, because that's what I do. But what a hell of a season, right, boys? So tell me, with or without trades, 1 month. And away we go. Not even one trade got offered. Imagine that. Since we talked to him, I think we're taking him. So give up 155, which is our early fifth, and go back 4 spots with the Eagles. I'm doing it. Not taking that one though. Then get an extra third next year. Let's see who's in this real quick. Okay. I am going to take this draft. Not taking that one. Not taking that one. So here we go. This is where we got to make a decision. We're at 58. Logan Jones is considered 68. Do we wait on edge? He did it again. The mock me daddy. That's funny. Without trades. I took one, but I'm not taking another. I didn't trade the first round pick because I don't think we do. I think if Kayden Proctor's there. Do I take Logan Jones now? Or do I take Danny Dennis Sutton or LT Overton? I think I'm going Logan Jones. I am. There went LT Overton, then went Danny Dennis Sutton. I'm not making that trade. No, I don't want Fireham. I just don't think so. This guy intrigues me. I like him. Aiden Fisher. There we go. Or Aiden Fisher or Josiah Trotter. I think Aiden Fisher because he actually made plays in the playoffs. So I'm going to take Aiden Fisher. Cario Davis. Isn't that the big deal? Yeah, 6'3", 190. He has quickness, not overall top speed, but he has good hip swivel. Does do a lot. I like Cario Davis out of Washington. All right. So safe. Waited too long for that. Impressed with them. Do we double down at center in case one's bad? I think so. So instead of doing my usual thing, I'm going to do something a little different so I can read it with you. I am going to go ahead and screenshot this draft. We ended up with 10 picks because I made the one trade or two trades in the second round. Because that's usually where we make moves. We usually don't make a lot of moves in the first round. We did the year it's not his and we traded back with Gibbs. So 3 out of the 5 drafts we did trade in the first round. So let's not get it twisted. So I'm going to bring it up. We already know about those guys. Aiden Fisher, 6'1" and 233, very fast covered linebacker that also applies pressure to Cario Davis. Looks like a top 50 pick coming out of stand-up 2023 for him that saw him put up 15 pass breakups. His 2024 season, however, saw him experience a sharp regression. Davis transferred from Arizona to Washington in the 2025 offseason, and the following Arizona head coach Jed Fish and his former teammate Ephesians Prysock in a familiar scheme with familiar surroundings, David enjoyed a return to prominence, achieving a strong PFSN quarterback impact score of 87.3, while allowing an opposing passer rating of 52.5 per True Media at 6'3" and 190 pounds with over 33-inch arms. Davis's size can overwhelm the opposition. And at his size, and he has excellent burst, short area quickness, and processing in zone and press man matching ability. As one might expect, Davis does experience slight fluidity and sync limitations with his build, and he doesn't quite have elite long speed or vertical range. Nevertheless, the schemes make that marry cover three side saddle with the press man based on situational factors like the Lions. Davis stands out as an ideal mid-round target with experience, technical versatility, playmaking reach, and proactivity as a solid, dependable run support profile. Pat Coogan, they won the national championship protecting Fernando Mendoza. And either one of these guys, centers usually can move to guard. We know about Kendall Cole Wisniewski, 6'4" and 220 at safety, and played for Texas Tech, who had a very good defense. And I read the Jack Strand one the other day. So let's get back to my normal view. Exactly. I mean, we need interior O-line depth. We saw Tristan Colon, Coyote Alvasica. Manu is a project that can't stay healthy. Let's get the depth we need. We've got Frazier and Mahogany. We've got Ratledge. That's three foundation pieces. Glasgow, God, please retire. So that's where I'm at. So let's download this and I will go over it pick by pick now. Kayden Proctor, Logan Jones, Aiden Fisher, Tacario Davis, Pat Coogan, Kendall Daniels, Cole Wisniewski, and Jack Strand. I like it. I don't think Pat Coogan's going to fall to the sixth round, though. I just have that feeling he's going to go earlier than that. But if he does, I would take that in a heartbeat. That is our draft. And we picked up a third from San Francisco for next year. So we have 2/3 in the next one coming up. I don't like trading up because I can't ever predict when we do that. We've traded up one time, if I or two times. We traded up two out of the three times. We traded back for Gibbs. We traded up for Jamison Williams, and we traded up for Terrion Arnold. I can't wait to see what Terrion Arnold does this year because he looked like he was becoming a good shutdown corner. Not lockdown, he was shutting down. Lockdown is getting picks. Shutdown means they don't catch around you. His QBR against him was under 65. Uh, Receivers, great receivers, elite wide receivers like Jamar Chase, all average under 50 yards receiving and no touchdowns while he was on the field. We got a good one, guys. Good morning, Nick Burton. We're just about ready to close out the show. Seahawks versus Patriots. We'll talk about it Wednesday night in detail on the NFL Roundtable Talk. I personally don't think the refs blew either game. I thought they were fairly called. Was there questionable calls on both sides? Yes, but not in the game-winning situation. In that play that ran the time off, Cup was down as he slid out. Caught the ball, 2 steps, falls down, tackled, slides out of bounds. Clock doesn't stop. Down by contact. So that's not a game-changing play. They did the right thing by keeping the flag and the whistles in their pocket. Congrats, Matt Stafford. You had a great season. Congrats, Bo Nix and the Broncos. You had a great season. You made it further than 12 teams. What, when he threw it to the other team? I don't know. They were trying to win the game. That being said, try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. That's the only way to make the world a better place. Starts right here. Much love to everybody in the chat. I got family coming in. We're going to just talk about Uncle Bob. It's been a sad weekend, but a good weekend at the same time. Much love to every single one of you. Peace, love, and chicken grease. And as always, try every day to be a better person than you were the day before, because that's the only way to make the world a better place. Starts right here.
Turn it up, it's that time again. Jeremy B. Lines, he's your best friend. Every weekday, Evan, you know the vibe. He's shouting one ride with that rockin' drive. Rolling up the scene, light up that fire. Jeremy's in the booth, taking us higher. With a grin and a laugh, he's got the crowd in a blaze. Smoking out the haters in a rock star haze. The stories that inspire and riffs that will ignite. When one pride echoes, everything feels right. Jeremy Beelan, every day at 11. Yelling one beat right like we're in rock heaven.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here